I had a lot of people that I couldn't trust at a very young age that I should have been able to trust. And it feels so deeply wounded in my muscles and ingrained in terms of my DNA of keeping people at arm's length that I still, after all this work, I find myself having to face certain limitations.
The Self-Hype Podcast.
What is up, party people? It's your boy Eli Vazquez, and welcome to the Self-Hype Podcast. That is right. And this week we're asking community questions. We are asking the nitty-gritty when it comes to community questions. So we talk about all things avoidant attachment. We talk all things, what is he thinking post-breakup? We're talking all things of how to start the therapy journey and so much more in answering questions from the community who watches this episode. This is a letter to love to all of you. We dive into so much and more, and let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Look at the look at the setup. This is still a work in progress, trying to make the space a vibe, professional podcasting. There's an arm here, a podcast, they got lighting. What is going on, Eli? I don't know. It's almost like we're growing, we're vibing, we're building the self-hype empire here. So I'm super excited to jump into this week's episode because this is the episode that's going to be on YouTube. That is right. We're going to be doing YouTube clips. So if you want to know where we're at on YouTube, check out the show notes and also link in bio so you can watch the YouTube video of the YouTubes, because that's what we're doing now, which is great. But this week, we're just going to run right into it. We're going to do the damn thing. We're going to jump in. We're going to have some fun while we're doing it because we're answering community questions. You know, every once in a while, we want to pop in, answer some community questions. And you guys have a lot of questions on avoidance, a lot of questions on heartbreak, a lot of questions on therapy. So we jumping on into it. All right. So let's see. We are answering the first question, which is, can you explain from a male perspective a rebound relationship post-serious long-term relationship? So what you want to know is, what is the male perspective of a rebound relationship post-serious? So what the hell is a man thinking? What is his perspective when jumping into a rebound relationship after long term? So let's talk about that. Really dependent on if he's self-aware that this is a rebound relationship after a long-term relationship, that means that he's just using that woman as a crutch. That's the reality of it. Well, Eli, they're smiling. Eli, they're happy. Eli, they're holding each other. Eli, they took fall photos. I don't give a damn up there in a pumpkin patch, holding a pumpkin patch with pumpkin spice lattes, wearing pumpkin in like same color flannel. I don't give a damn. If it's knowingly a rebound, aka I jumped into something right after the breakup, that means I'm using this person as a crutch, emotional crutch. Maybe this person has some quality that you didn't have. Maybe this person is just nice and sweet and they're so used to nagging and fighting, combating. And if we're talking avoidant attachment, there's so many more avoidant attached people in the dating game. I have to stop looking at myself at this damn screen. I have to look here. There's so many damn avoidant people in the dating game because there's this false sense of security in themselves. And I used to be avoidant. I used to be dusty. I used to be in these streets, girl. Don't hate me. I'm just letting you know how it is. I thought after the breakup I was good. I thought after the breakup I was great. I thought, thank God I don't have to deal with this nagging. I don't have to deal with not feeling enough. I don't have to deal with a woman that is clearly not my person because all she did was complain and complain and complain and complain. And I know you guys are probably grinding your teeth right now because I love you, a-hole. I just wanted you to know information so you can love me. So the hard reality is there's this false sense of security. And even if it's anxious or any attachment, if we're really recognizing the person that we're with as a rebound, it's not really a relationship. It's just an escape. It's just an experience. It's just all that. Because if it's a rebound, you're telling me you're just using me for emotional security and distraction until you're up on your feet, you're feeling good, and then you're going to move on. So that's the reality of it. Any type of rebound relationship is that. And so you're really using a person versus building a long-term relationship with them. So if your man is post-breakup and he's already in this rebound relationship and they seem happy and they seem good, block their asses on social media, please. Ain't no man gonna post that he's happy, or no, ain't no man gonna post that he's sad. Ain't no man gonna post like, I miss my ex so much. She's so great. She's so fantastic. I like, no, he's not gonna do that. So you have to cut the shit and understand the fact that If anyone, man, woman, who the hell ever, any attachment style, anybody, I don't care if they got 6 toes and 3 eyebrows, if they are jumping into a relationship right after a long-term partnership, they are distracting themselves and using that person as a crutch and as an escape for a sense of validation, for a sense of ego. That's it. I don't care how happy they look. I don't care what they're posting on social. I don't care that he even texts you saying, I'm so happy, which is clearly showing that he's not. Um, it's a distraction. So rather than seeing his action post breakup in a rebound or distraction or whatever, you need to see him showing you who he is when dealing with adversity versus what you deserve post breakup, what you deserve in a partnership. Because it's easy for us to think, I'm not enough or I should have done something different for him not to do this. And that's not it. Because a secure man knows I'm not going to waste my time and another person's time by being in a rebound. I'm going to face the negative emotions that come up, and I'm going to be a healthier me because of it. That's really the right way to do it. So just be happy that he's ratchet in a rebound relationship. Fan-freaking-tastic. Let's keep it moving. Don't mind the crack screen, by the way. I know I'm like calling attention to it right now. All right. What good does it do to identify boundaries versus rules versus expectations? What good does it do? What good do to identify boundaries versus rules and expectations? Okay, so if I'm trying to get this question right, it's like, what good does it do to have boundaries versus rules and expectations? So first and foremost, boundaries are for you. Boundaries aren't for other people. Boundaries are for you. Boundaries are a reflection of your red flags. What? What do you mean, Eli? My red flags? What you talking about? I'm setting boundaries because these for the streets. No, you're setting boundaries because the actions you did before weren't serving you and you were getting a negative reaction from other people. So now you have to take a new action, although scary, and set the boundary. So you have to really hold yourself accountable when it comes to boundaries. So, for example, if you drink the Kool-Aid and fall for love bombing and you don't even know the man's last name and you agree to be in a relationship with them after 2 dates, that's a you thing. Because there's something about you wanting to be wanted so much that you're not even focusing on if this is the right partner or not. So then you have to set a boundary based on your patterns of, okay, I know that this bites me in the ass. I know it comes from a level of insecurity and wanting to be wanted, probably some childhood wounds of people pleasing or something. So I have to set a boundary for myself to give my nervous system a chance to get to know this person. So that means I'm going to give myself a 30-day, just go on dates, ask intentional questions to see if he's the right partner versus just falling in terms of infatuation. You feel me? So when it comes to boundaries, you got to be self-aware of what the hell you need to set for yourself if we're talking the early stages of dating. So that's extremely key because we tend to either run away or lean in and want to get married yesterday. And it's based on dysregulated parts of us that needs to be nurtured and loved. So set boundaries so you can parent yourself in the right way. And then in terms of identifying like the rules versus expectations. So expectations is rules could go into boundaries, but and expectations, all this stuff could go into boundaries, but also it goes into non-negotiables. So what are the non-negotiables? So if you're really religious and the man isn't, that might be a non-negotiable. If it's politics, you guys have different politics, that might be a non-negotiable. You have to ask yourself, if he does not check this box, that's yes or no, left or right, up or down, or what have you, then he does not qualify as a partner. It doesn't matter how funny he is. It doesn't matter that he's 6'2". It don't matter that he got a nice pee-pee and stuff. It don't matter what that is. What matters is if he checks this non-negotiable, then he's back to the swamplands. That's just what it is. And I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm just saying that I'm wasting my time. And if I say, oh, well, maybe he'll change his mind, then you're feeding into your insecurity. Then you're agreeing to be in a ratchet-ass relationship. And then that's when you're lying to yourself and lying to him, and you're being the manipulative red flag one in this dynamic. So, yes, I'm calling your asses out. It's not always the other person's fault. It's your fault, too. But again, you do all this stuff just to filter dusty-ass men out, just to get them out of the ecosystem, just to be the sexy, voluptuous Brita filter that you deserve to be and filter these dusty men out. And this is how you're going to get closer to the partner that you should be with. So this is what it's all about. All right, let's keep moving. He's 36. Do I even bother wanting to see if he'll start working on himself? So this is a really good question. And how do we quantify age with working on oneself? I've been a personal development coach for over 5 years now. I've worked with people in all age brackets. And I've been so blessed to see so many phenomenal human beings well into their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s who have done deep intentional work for themselves. There is no deadline. It's never too late. You could be in your freaking deathbed and say, you know what, I'm going to learn some breath work and maybe I'll leave his dusty ass even though we're in the hospice. Whatever it may be, it's never too late to face your wounds and face yourself. I think there's something remarkably beautiful about being older and having all this data of your life and really facing the insecurities that may come with age. So there is no too late, but what matters depending on age is accountability. You can't force a man to do nothing. You can't force anyone to do anything. They have to take the initiative in themselves. When I did the work on myself, I was 26. And I wasn't in a relationship. I was single. But I knew with the actions that I was taking, it wasn't serving me long term in terms of the man that I was meant to become. So I took a year off of dating. I really locked in and focused on me. And still, I had years of work to do on myself. So if he's not taking any accountability, if he's not saying, I'm going to do this work despite you even being in my life, then there is there's no progress. So I wouldn't wait too long if that's the case. So something to think about when it comes to that stuff. Okay. Um, let's see. Do avoidant, dismissive men feel love at all? That is a question. Okay. Do dismissive avoidant men do avoidant men feel love at all? Yes, they do. And the hard reality is but they only feel safe when it comes to strangers. The second it goes from stranger to partner to vulnerability, that's when it gets scary because then they can get hurt. And they have all these things in their nervous system that gets triggered to keep them safe. Just want a quick cough break. So me as an avoidant man, a former avoidant, I loved love. I wanted partnership so badly, but I was scared as hell to have anyone really get close to me. And I didn't have the tools to regulate myself, to speak up for myself. I was dating, but I was in my own head while physically next to them. Or I was like, had this layer and wall up, and I would be in relationships for years, and women would be like, yeah, you're with me, but you're not with me. And I never knew what they were talking about until I finally had my aha moment of like, wow, this is some serious work I have to do. So understand the fact that, they do feel love. It's just very, very scary. So that then lurks in terms of this deep defensiveness or shutdown or getting quiet and small and all that. So it's just the issue is like they just don't have the tools to verbalize, to be constructive, and to sit and have this layer of dealing with criticism because there's so much insecurity there. So you can't necessarily throw them off to say that they don't feel love. Obviously, they feel love. They're human beings. But the reality is they just don't know how to get through the wall of vulnerability and let someone in because they've just been in that survival or they haven't had the opportunity to really practice that. So it took years, and I still get scared. I still get triggered. There's things that still come up for me in terms of my dismissive avoidancy and my disorganized state where I push people away or I feel that I'm like, and I have to check myself. I have to really call myself out. And I'm still exploring like pure, real giving my all to someone because it's so frightening. And just some backstory with me, I grew up with parents that were kids. They were teenagers. I had a dad that wasn't around. And when I did see him, he was whooping my ass. I had a mom that was too busy for me and wasn't really emotionally nurturing or really gave me emotional space to express myself. So I had a lot of people that I couldn't trust at a very young age that I should have been able to trust. And it feels so deeply wounded in my muscles and ingrained in terms of my DNA of keeping people at arm's length that I still, after all this work, I find myself having to face certain limitations. But the thing is, I'm self-aware of those limitations, and then I verbalize those limitations to the people that I'm currently seeing. So that's really the difference. Let's see. Started therapy. Okay, girl, that's what's up. Look at us doing therapy. Fan free contestant. What up here? Let me show. Wait, what was I trying to sing? I was trying to sing 14 different Disney songs at the same time. What? What was I trying to say? I will show you the world of therapy and crying in front of a stranger who's taking notes and judging you as they complain to you at margaritas with their other therapist friends on the weekends. I'm kidding. They shouldn't be doing that. Most therapists don't. Uh, I didn't know where I went with that in terms of. Well, either way, you're starting therapy. What a wonderful world, and can't wait for you to jump into it. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Top tips to get the most from it. You're coming from a narcissistic ex, grief, dad passed away. I'm so sorry for your loss. It's very painful to lose a parent. And then also dealing with narcissism of an ex. You're questioning, am I crazy? Am I nutso? What's going on? Am I enough? Am I not enough? What's going on? So, top tips to get the most from therapy. So if you're diving into therapy and you're jumping on in it, I would say the best tips are really to be understanding of the things that you want to work on. Therapy was the last step for me in terms of my personal development work. I did everything but therapy because it felt scary and vulnerable because I was doing it with, I was unpacking with another human being. And it was frightening. So, it's really important to understand the fact that why am I going to therapy? What are my rules? What are like the number one thing if you're diving into therapy for the first time and you want to get the most out of it is one, know why you're going. You don't have to fully understand like what you did or why you did it or what have you, but at least understand like, yo, these are some patterns I'm noticing, and this is the ideal goal that I want to get to. And the therapist is going to be like, okay, great. Let's unpack what you did, the patterns, where all that comes from, why, and then the necessary steps for us to get to point A and B. I would say two, don't, put them to work. It's your session. So if you really want to focus on this narcissistic breakup, tell them, say, hey, I would love to spend this session. I know we're working on this, but I would love to spend this session to work on that. Another thing too is know your limitations, understand your capacity. Therapy could be really heavy depending on what you type of therapy you do. So feel free to share what's coming up in real time, and feel free to shift topics midway through if you want to. Um, it's and I think the biggest thing too, and this is something I had to learn, was it's not a race. It's a marathon that never ends. And it's easy to feel like I need to be fixed, or I need to fix these things, or I always gamify life like I have to win or get to the next level. But the reality is, and the big thing that I'm constantly working through as well is this is a forever experience that I get to experience. There's something really beautiful about letting yourself go to that process. So some things to keep in mind with that. But I'm really proud of you, Boo Boo. Doing this new action is going to create a different result in your life. Go consistently, build that relationship with someone, really challenge yourself. And this is how we break some generational trauma. This is how we break a lot of generational wounds. And I'm sure your dad's going to be very proud of you for doing this work. I know I am. So, um, cool. Can an avoidant man change? That's the next question. Can he change? I want him, Eli. I need him, Eli. Yeah, sure, but probably not your dusty ass ex who's taking no accountability and is swiping left and right and hollering at, Twin Peaks waitresses and, just staring at your stories and stuff and 3 a.m. texting you, I miss us, then go back to saying, hey, stop texting me. You're being so clingy. You're like, probably not him. And the reality is like, can an avoidant change? That's just your anxiety talking. That's your fear of losing him talking. That's your dysregulated part of you talking. Because at the end of the day, working on your attachment takes time. And if I'm assuming this is after a breakup, and I'm assuming you're really hoping that he changes so there's potential in the future. But the amount of work he probably needs to do to be able to be a suitable partner to you is going to take more time. You will heal before he's finally done the work. And you won't care if he hits you up or not by the time he does the work. So no matter what, no matter how you spin it, you have to face you and heal you. Because by the time it takes time to do this stuff because he's not healing from you. He's healing from his entire life. And that takes time. So FYI, I'm going to keep in mind with that. Let's see. Uh, 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 uh. Grieving end of small relationship. Feel disappointed. Any fave ways of grieving endings. So, small relationship. So I'm assuming it was like quick turnaround. We call that the ba da ba 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 love. You know what I'm saying? We call that drive through butt slapping. We call that the fries and a 3-piece and a soda type of smooch. See you later. You know what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, you're disappointed. Why are you disappointed? Let's break it down. It's great. It feels so good. It feels so exciting. Oh my God, the narrative. Oh my God, the story. Oh my God, all those things. But you don't know his ass. So you're just going off infatuation, not actual partnership. And you don't know if he's a good partner. You just saw that he could be a good partner because it felt so good in the early stages. And guess what? A woman who's been married for a man 10 years, but fell in love with his ass the first year, eh, those are two different breakups. A woman who breaks up with a man that first year and it doesn't work out, she's pulling her hair out thinking what could have been. 10 years into that relationship, she's happy as hell that it's over. Because I'm like, I got to see every dysfunctional trait of this man, and I got to see that this is not another 10 years I want to live. But you didn't get to see that. So what you have to face and what you have to understand is that, yes, you get to be alone again, but keyword, you get to be alone again. And when I say get, you get to reflect and understand that this ended for a reason. And if I could fall in love with someone or fall for someone, then I can again. And not only that is if I look inward and set a new action and intention, it's going to be healthier than before. So, give yourself credit and understand that I don't even know who he is. And if I don't know who he is, then is this really about him or is this about me? And that's something to explore with therapy and work on myself. So, some things to keep in mind. Let's see. Months blindsided by breakup, super stuck in self-blame, what to fix, what's wrong with me phase. Hell, okay, that is so much. You didn't even use any spaces. You literally did slashes. You didn't even do a proper sentence. You just typed it all out in one blur. This is like one word. You may have to book a one-on-one with me. I think some people want to fit so much into the question, but there's so much emotion there. I would say book a one-on-one with me. This isn't like a quick commercial promo of my services, but there's tons of ways. If you guys have your own questions, if you guys have things you want to work through, you could book a one-on-one call with me where I literally jump on a video call with you, or you just ask me a question. But link in the bio and on my social channels and stuff like that. If there's something a little more intense, which this feels very packed and intense, and I don't want to answer something that there's no spaces in the sentence. So I want to be able to properly give you the love that you need. Um, let's see. I want to hit on at least one more. Can I hit on one more? What is there another one? One more? I want to find the one more. How to how what the, how to heal your anxious attachment. Okay, we'll end on that note. How to heal your anxious attachment. So the number one thing is effective communication, although scary, although worrisome, although all those things. I think the number one thing when it comes to any sort of dysregulated attachment is that you're not communicating in a direct, healthy, safe way. And it's easy to make assumptions. It's easy to take actions based on the results of worry and narrative that you're creating in your brain. So rather than thinking, well, should I text him? Should I text him? Is he thinking about it? Is he texting? You got to slow your damn breathing down, count from 5 to 1 and say, okay, is this my anxiety talking? And if my anxiety talking, why are they even talking? What is the worry? Well, they're going to leave me. They're not interested in me. They're going to break my heart, all these things. So, but the reality is, okay, what is coming up? How can I care for me right now? And what is a direct way that I could seek support through them? And have those conversations and don't be afraid to, even early on, be fun and flirty with it. And yes, even if they leave, great. You have to start practicing getting rejected and learning to nurture and hold yourself while you do it. I have a whole 8-week boot camp that helps you reparent yourself for healthy love, relationships, and life. It's my 8-week healing boot camp. You can check it out, whatever. But that's the number one thing is find that your toolbox, your tool set that's going to ground you. Because a lot of people just spark action through the initial feeling phase of their lives. And that feeling stemmed and first kind of got created in your nervous system when you were very young. So you feeding into this anxiety is just your 14-year-old girl acting up. But what you need to do is give her a hug, give her a kiss on the forehead, and say, hey, I love you so much. Maybe let's do this instead of that. And maybe let's not take this narrative and then just check in with them instead. And then start practicing that over and over and over and over again. And start training your nervous system that it's actually possible to be straight up and take up space and you're still worthy of love. And that's the big thing that we're healing, is the narrative that we're not. So with that said, thank you all for asking questions. If you guys are interested, check out my Instagram. I periodically say, hey, ask me a question. And then I put them on the show. If you guys want to dive into one-on-one with me and all that, dive deeper into these questions or topics, obviously, you know where to find me with that. But I hope you enjoyed this setup. I hope you enjoy the YouTube era. I hope you enjoy, and obviously it's going to look better with lighting and everything else and all that stuff. But I hope you enjoy it. And yeah. Oh, this is supposed to be an outro. Okay, now we're going to do official outro. And Ahmad is an amazing editor. I'm just literally Ahmad. Everything that I'm saying, keep it in the episode because I want to break the fourth wall and feel like we're really in the production. We're not editing any of this. Now let's cut to the outro. What is up, y'all? Welcome to the outro. Thank you for riding with me. Thank you for, just being a part of this community of the podcast. So many exciting things coming up in terms of, my life and things that I'm building and growing. We have my first in-person coaching in Chicago, October 19th. So if you're in Chicago, check out my Instagram, check out my TikTok. I have a link where you could secure your spot. It's personal. It's doing inner work. I'm working with a team of therapists, breathwork coaches, somatic healers. And it's an event that 100% proceeds go to families being impacted by ICE and deportations, just to give them resources, just to be able to support them through these trying times. But it's a really good cause, and you guys get to do some coaching, and we got tacos, and it's going to be freaking awesome, and it's in Chicago, October 19th. So check it out. Link in the bio and show notes. And yeah, you're super hot and beautiful and scrumdiddlyumptious. I don't know, whoever needed to hear that, now you get to hear it. All right, I'll see you guys next week.
The Self Hype Podcast.